So, welcome to another How Are You online catch-up series. Unfortunately, today we have only two people with us. We have
Three of
Wasim
us,
and
yeah.
Srikanth joined us. So, if any of you are interested in joining, please follow the meetup link that I've posted along with this live video and help us make this conversation more engaging. Otherwise, we three have been talking for a long time. It'll be boring for us. so please help us make this interesting. But
I don't know,
Wasim,
mostly...
yeah, go ahead, Srikanth.
Yeah, nothing. Mostly by around 10 minutes before itself, people will start pulling up. I don't know why it has
Yeah.
happened today. A certain
Maybe
surprise.
it's a lazy Saturday, or I don't know.
It's a very lazy Saturday.
The
of
weather
course.
is a little lazy, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, Wasim, probably you can share, you've been having something interesting happening around there. You can share how your week has been.
Devangani came.
And probably our viewers can't see how Wasim looked, but he looks different today. It looks like he took a challenge to have a clean shave, and he did that. He looks completely different. So you can share your story today, Wasim.
Yeah, I came across Paddlecall. It's an organization which helps students gain real world experience. So I came across them. They have an application process which every student is eligible to apply. So once they apply, they have multiple tests. They screen the application and they choose the best among the applications, and they divide them into teams with a facilitator. So each team gets a business or a team or a client who is actually a business owner and who has been faced. At least this workshop was small business. He's a logistic business.
Yep.
He's facing a problem of not having a huge customer base. He had only one customer, and during this crisis, he was not able to make enough revenue. So we were a group of 10, I guess, and with one facilitator, one mentor, and the client. So we all work together to first define a problem statement for what the problem actually is for the client. So once the client said, it was divided into 3 sprints. The first sprint was define the problem statement. We all as a team started finding what the problem statement was. And the next sprint was actually define the solution for him so that he can implement it as soon as he leaves that company.
All this happened in a week?
It's all happened in a day. It was all one day process.
Okay. That's great.
So it was a 12 hours process. It started early in the morning at 7 o'clock and everything ended by evening 7, yeah.
Oh,
but the last 3 hours was a pitch deck where you had to present your solution to your judges. So it's like a competition basically where each person shares the solution and the best wins in that competition. But the real world experience you give, the real life experience you get, you actually help a community grow along with you. So that's something which I never had experience back in India. So that's few things I cherish coming back here. And I think I recommend it to everyone, especially that's only for students. I think I recommend to each and every student who is listening to this to go and have a look at how it looks.
Brilliant. Thanks for sharing that, Wasim. I think the grid view is working when more people joined right now. So welcome to Devangni, Raghav, Sunil, and Archita. Thanks for joining us and making this conversation a bit more interesting than just Wasim and Srikanth and me. How are you all? I mean, how you been doing? I mean, what's happening?
I think I'm doing good. Having my chai this morning.
You're having a coffee. Yeah.
Good that you also woke up only now. Thanks. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had an interesting conversation with Archita last week, and right after the conversation, she actually penned down an article, and I was surprised that her problem was she wasn't sure what to write or how to generate content. And I had a conversation with her, and within I think an hour, she put up an article, and I was like, were you waiting for us to have that conversation? And she has also put another article, I think, on LinkedIn. So well done on that. Congrats for putting that stuff out.
Thank you. After that, I realized something. I just don't have to wait. I can just take the jump. And then as you start the journey, I started discovering people who are really good at what they were doing and what I want to do. So I started learning and I started commenting, as you said. Networking is more about retaining relationships than making new ones.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I've been working on.
Brilliant. So one topic or one point that we were talking during the conversation is, and this is something that everyone feels, when you are about to put some content out there, you think that this content has probably been been out there for and it's been written by way more experienced people, and it's already there. What is the point of me sharing that content again? And that's one common thing that you feel. But my answer to that is the way you express it will be unique. The journey you have taken and the way you share that story will be unique. I mean, 100 people say share a story about the same thing. Even if it's the same story, it will have different meaning to it. For example, if I share resume tips and stuff like that, and if Wasim shares resume tips and stuff like that, last week we had an experiment on telling something about yourself. Wasim may or may not have the same passion as I'm saying, and people may not connect to me in that same way because he hasn't taken that journey yet. I have taken that journey, and I know where I am, and I'm sharing my story, which is always unique. So do not worry about what others think about it. You're sharing your story, and just like I mentioned, you have gone through a journey, and I'm sure right now there are 10 people at the beginning of the journey that you took, and if you can share something to them, it will be a huge help for them, and probably you'll help them not to do the same mistakes as you did. And this is a general advice that goes to everyone, so it's very key.
I think Vinay's style is working now.
Yeah, okay. I think when more people came in, the tile started working. Till then, I don't know. Google Meet is not looking really good today. Welcome Sundar, welcome Kriti, and one more. I think welcome Elizabeth as well. How are you all?
Hi Vinesh. Finally, I get to join your program.
Brilliant. Thanks for joining, Sundar. How's things over there?
All good, all good.
I think you're somewhere else. You're not in Brisbane today, or?
No. Today I'm in Brisbane.
You're in Brisbane.
But the weather feels a little bit like Melbourne.
Oh, really? Good for you. Otherwise, it's just us people in Melbourne who suffers this weather. So I'm glad that someone else is suffering that as well.
It must be a good change.
Yeah.
Yes.
So those of you who don't know Sundar does a lot of networking activities in Brisbane, and now it doesn't matter where you do from; it's all online events. We are crossing platforms everywhere. So get in touch with him. He also does a weekly webinar on understanding different markets. Talks on different markets, connecting people and things like that. So get in touch with Sundar if you would like to be a part of it. So, how's everything going for everyone else? Kriti, you promised something interesting. You'd share something interesting today. Let's see if you're done. Yeah. I mean, that was part of the challenge last week. Every week, people will share something interesting.
I shared with you, Vinesh. So almost after a year, I posted on LinkedIn this week, and I listened to Vinesh's advice. And I didn't just post once a week; I posted twice a week, so that I'm consistent. And I hope to maintain that in the coming weeks as well. The interesting part is that my first post. I got a notification from LinkedIn that my post is now trending, and
awesome.
under the hashtag UX design, and UX designer is the position that I'm actually looking for. So I'm like, oh, I don't know what that means. Like, I don't know how that's going to benefit me that it's trending, but the fact that over 1,000 people saw my post, whereas I only have around 500 connections, felt good. That it was a good motivation for me to keep.
That happened the same for me as well.
Yeah. So that's all that matters. The visibility that you get. I mean, in the end, I think even though people hate to admit, humans like attention. That's
Yeah.
the only reason you're on Instagram, Facebook, or any other platform. That's the only reason, right? So you don't have to be ashamed to accept that. I mean, some people say, I'm not an attention seeker, but I love attention. That's the reason I post a lot on LinkedIn, right? So when you get that attention, especially on LinkedIn, that's definitely worth it, and that kind of keeps you pushing to do more and more and more. So go for it. So well done, Kriti and Archita. So that's
Thank
two
you.
people that I've pushed in a week to put some post and make things happen.
Yeah, the challenge is going to be how to maintain it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm already feeling like what should be my next article. I'm already putting in ideas that, like, when I'm doing random things, cooking, but I just keep noting it down. So I think we should be okay.
Yeah.
I think that's key. Whenever something comes to your mind, just note it down. You don't have to make it a full-fledged idea yet, but you just kind of add things to it, and eventually it will become a post. And LinkedIn, if you're not writing an article, if it's a LinkedIn post, all you need is 1,200 characters maximum. So you can fit something to it. And but I like Archita's having that mindset, as in you said, while cooking, something came up, I'm writing it down. I like that mindset of having a content generation. I mean, whatever you do, you think, hey, I have to share this to someone. Hey, I have to share this to someone. When you have that mindset, you won't go out of content. That's what I do. I mean, I talk to you 10 people today. I get 10 stories from different people, and I say, hey, I have something to write next week. And I write it down, and I probably space it out for a couple of weeks. I don't put everything in one post, because otherwise you just lose content over time. But space it out. I know you're excited, but don't put everything at the same time. Space it out, like 2 to 3 posts a week. That's all you have to target. Don't do too much, and it's all right. I know Archita and Kriti has got the what bite is it called? I forgot the word. Some bite. The taste of but no, the taste of how people seeing a post get, right. So your posts have been going on everywhere. Tomorrow you put a post and no one will see it. Trust me. Trust me. If you want to see, I put a post on Monday, this 5 days back. It has just 9 likes and it has less than 1,000 views. So all my posts get typically 50 plus likes, and it typically gets 10,000 plus views. And this has done nothing. So these days happen, and it wasn't that the content was bad. I mean, the content was about the initiative that I'm doing. I'll be there for you, which is a volunteering mentorship program. So the content is good as well, but it simply did not. I don't know. Something happened, right?
Thank you for preparing us, Vinay.
So that will definitely happen.
I felt that on my second article.
It definitely will happen, but don't get discouraged by it. And I used to be obsessed when that happens. I was like, why are not people liking my post? But it is the way it is. And I think LinkedIn somehow favors first posts and posts that you've done after a long time. So you'll get more visibility for your first post. But the more you do it, I think there is also an algorithm that suppresses influencers. So if someone's post is going viral consistently, they will slowly cut that down so that everyone else gets an equal opportunity, which all sounds fair. But it's important to not fall or not get obsessed about numbers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Do you think there's like specific days when we should be posting, or like just go by the gut?
Yes. Pre-COVID, I had some data, but post-COVID, that has changed because shutdown. I mean, I think people are looking at LinkedIn all the time, or there's no pattern per se. But before the shutdown, Wednesday used to be the best time. Wednesday morning, 9 to 10 a.m. used to be the best time. Again, depends on the audience. If your audience is primarily, say, in the States, that's a different time that you have to post. But when you post, the first hour is critical. The engagement in the first hour is critical. So if someone puts a comment on your post in the first hour, reply to the comment immediately in the first hour. So the engagement that you get in the first hour of your LinkedIn post will decide whether that post will be visible in more feeds or not. So that's very critical. So that's why it's important to post when your target audience is online. So if your target audience is in the States, you probably have to post at night, maybe 9 to 10 p.m. That's the right time to post. Otherwise, it used to be Wednesday morning for me. Fridays and Monday mornings are usually not great times to post. Friday, I think people don't really use LinkedIn, and Monday morning, same thing. Some people say lunch break used to be the most popular time when people check LinkedIn, so that time sometimes suits as well. But I think post shutdown, all those patterns have been shattered. I don't think that's a pattern anymore. So you don't have to really bother about that. That's what I want to say. But typically be consistent and put it on morning, say Monday, Wednesday, or something like that, and avoid weekend postings.
Okay.
Again, that is a pre-COVID assumption. Post-COVID, I still think people don't spend much time on LinkedIn during weekends, so it may or may not go.
Yeah, I think weekend is for Instagram and Facebook.
Absolutely. So Instagram and Facebook, I don't think there is a timing issue or I don't know. I'm not an expert on Instagram and Facebook. I've been trying to post over there as well, but it's not really catching up, and it's not my audience. I don't know if I have an audience but everyone is doing it. So the fear of missing out pushed me into that as well. And the next fear of missing out is TikTok, but I don't know. I don't even know how to get in there, and that's a whole different world. So I think we have a lot of new people today, so it's fair enough to play the usual game that we play. If you all can turn on your video, we can get on with it. Yeah. So the game is who has the best video today. Go ahead and vote. You can vote in the chat. Just type in. People usually tend to ignore me because they say I have an advantage on this. So I respect that. So I consider myself as a default winner. But if there is a second winner, just put in the chat.
Yeah, I'm
So,
being distracted
hi
by
Vinesh.
Yep.
nice profile and all your videos going all over the place. There's no way we can challenge you, Vinesh.
Yeah. So I'm staying back. I'm staying out of this competition. Out of the rest, we have I think 8, 9, 10 people who has the
So
best.
we have to tell who's streaming the best, like the video quality or like
Yes.
the setup.
In general, how do you feel about when you see a person here and the way they talk?
Okay.
Just put it in the chat.
Right.
So we have 2 votes for Kriti, 2 votes for Wasim. Oh, Wasim has a vote today. Good. 3 votes for Kriti.
Yay!
4 for Kriti. Archida gets 1.
Yeah, today
Wasim gets
Wasim background,
3.
his looks, everything changed. Right?
Wasim is back in action today. Raghav gets 1. Wasim 4. I think 4. Kriti and Wasim are tied right now. So last
Wasim would
one
have got a
vote.
call from
Vinesh, we
Gaurav.
need your vote.
We have a new addition as well, Jade. Welcome, Jade. So you can vote him as well. You can consider him as well. So Jade, just to give an introduction, we are playing. I know who has the best video right now. So we are just voting in the chat and just playing that
I
game.
secretly watch it on LinkedIn, but I just don't
okay.
see it in the chat.
Okay.
So I know what happens.
Yeah.
I just want to see if like the link was correct. I was just
Yeah.
You are live now. You are in the competition as well.
I think the same.
So Sundar voted for Wasim and Kriti. That's not fair.
So we can give more than one vote.
Yeah. So my vote goes for Kriti. Sorry, Wasim. There are multiple reasons to it. Her background looks good. Her camera angle looks good. Her smile looks good, and she kind of gives a pleasant feeling to me. I mean, just the way we look at her. Either she woke up earlier than us, or she's having a good morning. I'm not sure. But
I literally just woke up.
Okay, so
before the call.
I don't know how you're so energetic already. Yes,
I was looking forward to this. That's why.
Vinesh,
yes,
I
Sundar.
think one more element. She's got an Audi at the back of her.
Maybe that
I
might be an
noticed that too.
unconscious bias as well. So it kind of puts up the luxury factor in it, right? So it kind of drives our decisions. So yeah, all these matters. I mean, the point that I wanted to make is all these matters when this is a casual for, when you're having a serious interview, when you're attending a meeting or a webinar or anything of that sort. All these matters. Probably Wasim is bored of here listening to this week in, week out, but for everyone else, even Srikanth might be bored. For everyone else, first factor is camera angle. Wasim's camera angle is bad. It's low. It's lower than you, so he's looking down at us. So if you're having a one-on-one conversation, you're looking down. I'm getting noise from someone. If you can mute whoever that is. I think that's Archita. I'm muting you, Archita. Okay. Well done. Okay. So when you're looking down at someone, it's not a good feeling to have. It's like you're a dominant character, so you don't want to do that, right? The same thing, opposite of it. So I think a lot of people are looking down. Srikanth, Sundar, Wasim, who else? Okay, so everyone is looking down. Your camera is below, so it's like the other person is have to look up to you. So in a one-on-one conversation, that doesn't feel great, right? The same thing, looking up. Yeah, Srikanth, I think, is giving a live demo. Holding your camera up isn't a great thing either. It should always be at your eye level. You should look at the camera, right?
I'm just simply
giving a demo. Yeah, so
not so in a comfortable position. That's why here and there moving.
So that's another point. Don't use your phone if you're doing a serious interview. It keeps shaking.
Right. That's right.
It might fall. And it's awkward. It keeps moving and it's awkward. So if you're in a serious interview and you're using your phone, place it somewhere, fix it, and make sure it doesn't move or it doesn't shake or anything of that sort, right? So avoid using a phone camera. Lighting is very important. We don't have Paulvin today to show the lighting example. Right. Okay, let me go. Archita has a big background light, so we can't actually see her face clearly. Compare Archita with Kriti. Kriti's facial features are visible, right? And mine too, of course, mine as well. So for example, if I turn off this light, I don't look as good as this, right? It makes an instant difference. So always have a light in front of you. Do not have bright lights behind you. Wasim also has that issue. There's a blinding light behind him, so you can't actually see your face. So it's important to have lighting in front. Tech, your headphone quality, very important. We constantly have this issue during this meetup that sometimes, some headphones you think they work good, but it just puts out a lot of noise. It's not clear enough, right? So it's very important that you take care of that in advance. Is your camera working? Is your headphones working? Is your internet working? All those things. The way you dress really doesn't matter. People see only this and upward. What happens underneath that is your business. No one cares. As long as you're comfortable, that's fine. But just have comfortable clothes, whatever it is. Just for example, Kriti, Wasim, and myself, for that example, I'm just wearing a, what do you call this thing? Jacket?
Hoodie.
Or whatever it is. Just do this and you're done. You don't have to really. If you're getting up, make sure there is something you're taking care of what is below you as well. Or if you're holding a camera, in case the camera falls, make sure that you're prepared for that as well. So those are the things that you have to take care of. What else? Did I miss something? Wasim and Srikanth? I think that's all.
I think just one thing, like if you're giving a video interview, it's nice to wear shoes so that you get a proper, it's like a psychological effect.
Yeah, it's a psychological thing.
Even if you're wearing a PJ over shoes, that's still fine. But
so some people say that they actually wear suits when they are working from home so that they get the feeling that they're in the office. So if you can feel that, go for it. I mean, the reason that I'm enjoying work from home is I don't have to wake up in the morning and get ready, right? So I just open the laptop and I'm ready. So that's
and you can have a power nap whenever you feel like.
And one thing I missed is background. Background is critical, right? To give an example, the reason Wasim got more votes is there's something in the background. All you need is something, right? Archita and Devangni, for example, it's plain, it's boring. And mine too, if that plant wasn't there, it would have been boring. It's just plain white background. Plain white background is all right, but it's not interesting, it's boring. Same, you can see for Mayank, I think Jade as well. Archita, Devangni, even for Sundar for that matter, there's nothing exciting in the background. Kriti, immediately there's a different color setting and it somehow looks different, right? That's all, and that actually gave her an extra edge on that. So background is also very important. Try to make it so, and it depends on who you say. For example, you're interviewing a person. What impression do you want to give them? Right? Do you read a lot of books? Are you a tech person? Do you like doing something? So this is the place where you can highlight those stuff. So that's also very important. So when I asked if there was anything left, Wasim said no. That means you're probably not listening to me. I did miss background.
No,
right?
I think background was covered at the beginning. We spoke about Audi and Kriti's background.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. So
I think there's one more thing that I felt that if you're giving a video interview or something, always keep a glass of water with you.
Absolutely.
Because you are very anxious and you do become thirsty always.
Yep.
So
absolutely.
That's
what I have is my AC remote as well. It's freezing in here, so if I'm freezing, I'm uncomfortable and I don't want to. So I have that as well with me. And I think pen, paper, if you want to. I think Kriti likes writing. She used to write some stuff that I say in the past. I'm not sure if she does that anymore, but I remember that she did it last time, so that's also important. And so today we actually deviated from the actual format of this event. So the way we do it is first 10 minutes we just have a conversation with each other. We just chat to see what's happening in everyone's life, and then we move on to I have a Google form link in the Meetup description, and you submit your questions there, and we kind of have a chat over that. Today, because there were less people in the beginning, I thought we'll just go with the flow, and that's the reason. But I have one question probably that I can address today, and that's why Kriti. So she's here, so I thought I'll go ahead with that. So her question is how to be persistent with job search without giving up. How to overcome job search fatigue. Can anyone else relate to that?
Me.
Archita, yes. Everyone.
But
Kriti,
I have
go ahead.
I'm working on this thing that I've started setting a benchmark that at least I have to send 2 or 3 applications per day.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how much busy I am. So if I'm sending 2 applications per day, I'm persistent.
Mm-hmm.
The first most important thing, and not just copy pasting application, proper formatted application, not beating around the bushes that sending same cover letter, same resume. No, just put extra half an hour or 1 hour extra in your schedule, and just maintain 2 applications, not like 10 applications. Don't set such high benchmark. If we start with the 2 applications, that's how I've been doing from last 15 days, and I'm doing it good, I think, because if I'm persistent, I know that I am on the track. So that's what I'm following.
Absolutely. Thanks for sharing that, Mayank. So it's see, when there is a structure or when there is something around it, it's easier to feel okay. Otherwise, when you're just going with the flow, it's hard. So that's what exactly Mayank mentioned. So he put a target, and you do 2, and you're happy. If you apply for 2 applications, you're happy. Otherwise, you always think, okay, I have to apply for more, and that's what kind of brings that fatigue in. But I have a question for Archita and Kriti. How do you feel in the past 1 week?
Definitely more confident. I do, as I mentioned, I do see people who are more competent than me, who are doing better than me. But I think it's more upon your attitude, how you take it. So I've been going out, searching for people, reading more about them, and I realized that these are the things I could improve on. Not feel incompetent, but I could improve on. So, and when it comes to job search, so I noticed that talking about the jobs that are not advertised, not that aspect, but the jobs that are advertised, I started maintaining an Excel sheet. I've been doing this for past 1 month. So what happens is a lot of employers post on all the websites. For example, they will post on Seek, Indeed, Jora, etc. So I don't overlap. I keep that Excel sheet, and it saves time. It saves my fatigue.
Absolutely. Do you think since you started, the main point that Archita mentioned, that she started looking for other avenues to kind of distract herself, if that's the right way to put it. Do you think sharing your article on LinkedIn and Fakriti sharing your post on LinkedIn has had any impact on the way you feel in the past 1 week?
Yeah, I've been distracted, which is good in a way. And
Yeah.
I'm trying to trust the process that,
Yeah.
okay, it's a slow process. I'm on my way. And there's not much I can do right now. And also need to factor in the COVID aspect. Can't ignore it.
Yeah.
I've been trying to accept it more. Like, this thing is affecting the job search. It's not the best time. It's a pandemic.
Absolutely. So that's key over here. The common mistake that job seekers do is they just apply. A new job comes up. I mean, I'm sure you know whatever job ads are there in your domain and see. When a new one comes, you know that immediately. Every morning or every 3 hours, you probably refresh your filter and apply for it. That's where it gets intense, and it goes to a never-ending loop, and you get fatigued because you're just chasing something that is not in your control, and you keep doing it. And for me, if you've talked to me, you know that applying online is the wrong thing to do. That's a wrong strategy, and that's the most ineffective strategy that is there out there. And you chasing that makes you what's the right way to put it? It's like running behind something that won't work, and you're putting or you're over emphasizing on that thing. There are tons of other things that you can do, and you're ignoring everything and saying, hey, there's a new job, I have to apply it immediately, and you're ignoring everything else. You're ignoring your mental health, you're ignoring your physical health, you're ignoring everything, and this is all that is there in your mind. Right, so that's when fatigue kicks in. That's what happened to me as well. I repeat my story. When I came in Australia, I was looking for a job for 8 months. All I did is sit at home, watch TV, and apply online. That's it. I did not do anything else. I always say I'm a boring person. I'm not into sports. I don't listen to music. I don't read books. So I live in that spectrum, and all I did is applying online. And what brings you happiness is when you either get an auto rejection or when you get some sort of response from someone, right? A new mail comes in, that's what makes you happy. And that's very, very bad way to follow it. But when you do other things, there's a lot of advantage to it. For example, posting on LinkedIn. Now people will approach you or people will see you. Instead of you craving for attention, you are doing something to get for something to attract people to you, right?
You reverse the tables, basically.
Yeah, you're reversing the table. So the more you do that, right now I don't have to so when I started helping people, what I used to do is I on the LinkedIn search, I give the keyword as actively looking for, and I connect to the first 10 people and I message them, hey, I see you're looking for a job, do you need any help? That's how I used to crave for attention, because I knew I had a lot of information to share, but I did not have the platform. But today I don't send a connection request to anyone. Everyone comes out to me because they see my content and they know what value I can add, and I just help them. I know they ask questions to me and I help them. I don't have to go craving for attention. Attention is probably not the right word, but in a way it is craving for attention. I don't have to go there. So that's what happens when you do things like that, when you generate content, when you become visible. And this is just one way to do it. LinkedIn is just one way to do it. If it was not a shutdown period, you can go out and for meetups. There are tons and tons and tons of meetups that happens every evening. Especially if you're in Melbourne or Sydney, every evening there's meetups plus free pizza and drinks, so your dinner is sorted as well. So that's
Not
a
anymore.
that's a big stress reliever if you go for those events, and you'll feel good about yourself. You'll get more confident. The more you talk to people, the better. I trust the 10 people who are here in this conversation are feeling a bit better than how you felt 30 minutes ago or 35 minutes ago, right? So that's what meeting people and talking to people can do to you, and it kind of distracts you from the job search as well. You miss out on if you delay your applying online thing, which is something that probably you'll be rejected for, and you're worrying about that. There's no point. Take a break, do whatever you love. It could be reading books, it could be doing your painting, it could be what else, cooking, it could be some DIY stuff, it could be some side project. that it's okay to do that. It's okay to you spend time, and it's important to spend time on that. I wouldn't say it's okay. It's important that you spend time on that. Otherwise, especially in this COVID situation, like Kriti said, she has accepted the fact that you might not hear back anything for the next few weeks or months. You don't know how long it goes because the market is down. You can't think selfishly and say, hey, why am I not getting? People are getting laid off out there. People are getting redundant out there. Situation is really bad. You can't assume that a red carpet will be laid out for you always. It's not the case, right? It's not personal. It's not you. It's not your fault. Everyone is going through that. Everyone is in a crazy situation. So the best thing you can do is support each other. For example, the 10 people out here, I know Wasim, Srikanth, and there are a few regulars who come to this. They have actually made friends out of this group, and they are having conversations outside this event as well. So reach out to each other, make friends, go to events that Sundar or what I initiate. You make new group of friends every day, and that's how you push through. And when you do that, your job search would be way, way less stressful. You'll probably even enjoy the process rather than thinking about it as a process, right? So that is what will help you. And Kriti, I think you're already on that path. You posted that, you sent that question last week, I think. So something's already changed in a week, but you're already on that path. But that's what I recommend everyone to do. Any questions? I've been talking for a long time.
I had an interesting question. So when you were sending people like, do you need any help? And now that the tables have turned, did you notice anyone now replying back on the same message that now I need help?
Absolutely. I mean, not just that. I think last week, I remember
a general approach.
I remember a person messaged me. She was a recruiter, and she had been laid off recently, and she wanted to know my meetup details. So I was just looking back at her chat history. My last message to her was in 2018 when I was job searching, and she did not respond for that. Right? So there are stories like this. A lot of people. And that's a bad thing. I mean, even if you're as a job seeker, say for example, you messaged me in 2019, just as an example, 7 months ago, and something worked out for you, right? And you did not keep in touch with me. I'm not saying I'm the superstar and you have to keep in touch with me. That's not the point. But right now you message me, hey, I'm looking for a job. Do you have any roles? Like, I don't even know who you are. Now, I think, for example, Raghav, I think we have met in the past. You have come for coffee catch-ups in the past, but I remember him because of that conversation that we had, but we haven't actually chatted in a long, long time, I think. You moved to Sydney, right?
I moved to Perth.
Perth, yeah. He moved to Perth.
I actually have my PY going on right now, and I just saw that Vinesh is live. I was like, I have to join this one somehow. It's been very long.
Thank you. So he's back, but I still have that memory fresh. But sometimes when you message me, especially if it's just a LinkedIn conversation, I'll have to scroll back and see who is this person, how much of a good conversation you had a year ago. Whatever happened there is done, especially if you're following me and I keep repeating, you have to maintain the relationship. I keep repeating, you have to maintain the relationship, and you message me one fine day and say, there have been some people who message me saying, I follow your content a lot. I've been following your content for a long time. How can I find the details of your meetup, for example? Or I'm looking for a job. Can you help me? Or here is my resume. If you say that word and then you send me this message, that means you're lying, because I share about not doing this kind of almost once every week or once every month, right? It means you're not following and you're just putting that line there for a sake. So that kind of breaks trust over there, and my response will be accordingly. As in, I would say, check this meetup link, or I would kind of be cold. I won't have a connection towards that person.
Mm-hmm.
So how much effort you put into that relationship absolutely matters. I don't know where we started this conversation, but I think I can conclude with that.
I think the whole point was that even if you get a job or everything, if you don't network anymore, then you lost, the cause is lost where you started.
The cause is lost, and the technology and the age that we are in, you might get redundant anytime. And
Right.
right, I mean that's a volatile situation. There's no more anything called a permanent job. Even if you're in a permanent or contract, it doesn't really matter. So the people just like I say, the 10 people
That's all you have.
I know in this group, 10 of you can turn out to be CEOs after 5 or 10 years. And I have someone to reach out to when something happens. And if I reach out to, I trust this connection will be valuable, that I can actually reach out and you will help me. Right? So I'm looking down like a 5 or 10-year plan. Otherwise, I'm just wasting my time. It's not that I'm wasting my time. Every person that I talk to, I'm sure that I can reach out to them after some time.
I think we might be referring to each other, right? That, we met at Vinesh's meetup. So that would be a start.
That too.
That would be a common thing as well.
I'd like to share a story on networking, Vinesh.
Yep.
That I've been experiencing in the past, I think, month, I'll say. So, so basically, I am a UX designer, and there was a list for designers that I came across on LinkedIn itself while browsing, which is a platform where they've, put a list of mentors all across the world, and they've also shared job posting. You could make a profile on that website as well. So through that list of mentors, I filtered out mentors in Australia, and I've started reaching out to industry practitioners with a LinkedIn in-mail caption being reaching out for mentorship. And 90% of them have replied.
Brilliant.
And in the past week, I've had 3 video call sessions with 3 different people.
That's
excellent. I had 2 yesterday. Yeah. So I think the learning here is that if you see, those people were approachable naturally because they had put themselves on the list, right? So now that I've exhausted the list, I've approached everyone in Australia on that list. It feels good though, because I'm talking to people who are in the industry, who've been there in the industry since the past 5 to 10 years, and majority of the people are helpful.
Yeah.
So it's a lesson that I've learned that, if you want to reach out to someone in the industry, a good tip would be just say reaching out for mentorship, and people get back.
Absolutely.
From Vinesh, I've learned that you don't have to make it transactional, the interaction. So,
Absolutely. It's very important that in general, I think people like to give advice, and when someone is asking for mentorship, they generally like it. It all depends on the way you approach it. Just like you mentioned, if you put upfront that you're looking for mentorship, that kind of sets the table. Instead of saying, "Hi, how are you? I'm looking for a job. Can you help me?" That sets the tone. I'm like, no. Some people, yes, come out and help, but it kind of has a different tone to it. It's very transactional thing, And most people that I talk to as well, they ask me questions. They start with, "Can you help me with job search?" Then I say, networking is this thing, blah blah blah, my usual funda, And in the end, their attitude is, "So you can't give me a job," and that's it. That the conversation ends over there, right? So when you look at everything like transactional over there, that's where things go wrong.
Yeah.
Right. So I think we have already 50 minutes ahead of where I have to end. So I'll end with the same topic that I always say. 3 things important over here. 1, start generating content. And if you think you don't have content, the best content that I can give you right now is the experience we had right now. Right? Share this. Tag 10 of us. Share the story, or don't just say, excellent initiative by Vinesh. Thanks for attending. Thanks for making this. No, that's not what we want. I share this. Even if you're taking some certification, don't share the certification and say, finally done it. I mean, you're not giving value out of it. You're just boasting, or you're just putting stuff out there. That's not what you want. Explain what were your challenges, how good it was, how bad it was, how can others get benefit out of your experience. Always give value to that. So same thing, give value out of this. What did you learn, for example, or how awesome or boring was I, for example? Anything of that sort. Put it out there and write a good post. That's content number 1 for you. Second thing, I think Arshita and Kriti is already on that path. Be consistent. Every week, at least 1 post. You have to target this. Otherwise, I remember I took a break in December. For a month, I did not post. And then I had to start from scratch again, because my posts were not getting any visibility. People were not seeing it, right? So if you're not consistent, you're losing that momentum, and you're not getting that. Third thing is, a common question that you get is, you attend this event, what do you talk about? Right? You don't have anything to talk about. So you won't have anything to talk about unless you have something interesting to talk about. So then next time before we meet, make sure that you do something interesting. And interesting means not necessarily technical related. It could be like Wasim had a clean shave. He took a challenge, and he took a challenge from his friend, and he did a clean shave. That's something interesting. That's a conversation starter, right? It could be that you learned to cook some dish. It could be you painted something. It could be you learned swimming. You could be you learned boxing, or you are reading some book. Something interesting that you really like, so you can have that conversation the next time we come. So the next time I ask, hey, what's been happening, instead of sitting silent and the usual, it's cold. I mean, that's what people usually say when they don't have anything to talk, right? Instead of that, you actually have something to talk and you add to this conversation. And this is what will happen when you're talking to someone else as well. All right. So let's end this with a selfie. I again don't have that thing. So this is a new age selfie. Yes, everyone is making up their hair. I think making up their hair is the hardest part.
More conscious about their hair than anyone else.
Yeah, making up the hair is the hardest part. I mean, my hair is going in all directions, and I don't know how to stay it down, and I'm kind of ignoring it now, so that's fine. So let me just fire that up. So I always kill that software because sometimes my laptop creeps out and makes everything slow. Anyways. Okay, so on 3, if you can turn on your video and have a smile, I'll take a screenshot. All right? 1, 2, 3. There you go. Thank you. So this is the new age selfie. You keep seeing tons of this on Instagram or wherever it is, but
will you share that on the chat?
I will share that in the meetup event and probably on LinkedIn as well.
Right.
All right. Nice so that was fun.
Yeah. Thank you all.
Have a good weekend, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.
See you next week.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Great weekend.